All right, folks, we're back. I'm your host, BKP. Good morning from the office. North Georgia's only live online morning show. Now, hang tight. I want to make sure my volume's off here so I don't get rolling. Show them how they can get in touch with the show, because right here you can text me on this show. And there you go. Right there, phone number, email, all the social media ways. Now, what we were telling you is this guy right here. Now, last week, Kirsten Nielsen, whatever her name is, she's out. And where's he at here? This guy is in right here. Now, you see him in his suit and tie. Trump names McKellen, acting Department of Homeland Security secretary. Now, last week we played an interview with this guy on the show from the border. I thought there was something about this guy right here. So we're going to play a little bit so you can get to know. If you're wondering this morning, who is the acting Homeland Security Secretary? Let's play a little bit from his interview last week.
I'm going to go first.
2 weeks ago, I briefed the media and testified in Congress that our immigration system was at the breaking point. That breaking point has arrived this week at our border. CBP is facing an unprecedented humanitarian and border security crisis all along our southwest border, and nowhere has that crisis manifested more acutely than here in El Paso. On Monday and Tuesday, CBP started the day with over 12,000 migrants in our custody. As of this morning, that number was 13,400. A high number for us is 4,000. A crisis level is 6,000. 13,000 is unprecedented. On Monday, we saw the highest total of apprehensions and encounters in over a decade, with 4,000 migrants either apprehended or encountered at ports of entry in a single day. That was Monday. Yesterday, we broke the record again with 4,117. We are now on pace for over 100,000 apprehensions and encounters with migrants in March, with 90% of those, 90,000 people, crossing the border illegally between ports of entry. March will be the highest month since 2008. The arriving flows are made up primarily of Central American families and unaccompanied children, over 65. These groups cannot be repatriated expeditiously and instead are almost guaranteed to be released to remain in the U.S. indefinitely, regardless of the merits of their immigration or asylum claim. The last time we had crossings near this level, they were almost all single adults from Mexico who could be swiftly repatriated. There's a big difference. To put this in more recent context, in March, we will see over 55,000 family units alone. In March of 2017, when we were at historic lows, we saw 16,794 crossings total, including all demographics, adults, families, and children. This stark and increasing shift to more vulnerable populations, combined with overwhelming numbers and inadequate capacity to detain families and children at ICE and Health and Human Services, respectively, is creating a humanitarian crisis. In March, almost 40,000 children will come into CBP's custody after making a harrowing journey in the hands of violent and callous human smugglers through Mexico. The danger of violent assault on that journey, the potential for a tragic incident in the crossing or in overwhelmed CBP facilities and transportation networks is clear and present. It's going to be 85 degrees in El Paso today. The danger increases for all of those crossing our border unlawfully as it gets hotter. Here in El Paso, we have almost 3,500 migrants in custody this morning in facilities designed for many fewer. We had over 1,000 apprehensions in this one sector alone on Monday and encounters at our port of entry. The vast majority, again, families from Central America. And all of this is coming into facilities designed for short-term holds of single adults. This humanitarian mission, which we're committed to, is undermining our border security efforts. While 65% of crossings are now families and children, who most often present themselves to Border Patrol agents, you saw a group walking peacefully to our station just a few minutes ago. 35% are still single adults who try to evade apprehension at our border. And within that flow are thousands of criminals, smugglers, gang members, and public safety threats that we're sworn to protect this country from. With up to 40% or more of our personnel in key sectors like El Paso working to care for, transport, provide medical and hospital watch for families and children, that means our security posture at the border is negatively impacted. The same criminal organizations that are smuggling migrants, profiting from them, abusing them in the journey, are benefiting from our reduced security presence. They're bringing drugs, they're bringing adults who are trying to evade capture behind those families as we're bogged down with large groups. With regard to medical efforts, all
right, we don't have time. It was I just wanted to give you, I know that was about 3 minutes. Thanks for staying with us there. I just wanted you to meet this guy. If you didn't, we played so many clips. We played several clips from this press conference last week. It's worthy of going. But what Congress does not want to hear, and what Congress does not want to hear, is drugs, drugs, drugs. Not damn tomatoes and avocados, okay? Drugs are crossing the border. Thousands of criminals. Although 65% are families with children, 35% are single that are trying to evade capture. 35%. Now, have you done the numbers? This guy says, hey, he told Congress this is a crisis, all right? 55,000 families, 40,000 kids, 65% families with children, 35% single, evading capture. Thousands of them are criminals. Thousands are criminals. We should have a secure border where not even one criminal should make an effort to get in. Just think, they know when they're sending thousands of criminals into this country, thousands of criminals, drug smuggling, the drugs, close the damn border. Okay? Now, I'm not going to tell you that Kirstjen Nielsen never understood that this was going on right here. Okay? But this guy, thousands of criminals coming across the border. That is your new acting. All right? Acting. Now, one more thing. The media is talking about this morning is number 28, how the President of the United States likes acting cabinet level officials, okay? According to these are acting, these are not confirmed, okay? And this is at 1:04 a.m., 4:04 in the morning, and the media is going nuts, all right? Nielsen, here's the bottom right here. Nielsen was hoping to repair her image after child separations. Acting Homeland Security, Kevin McKellan, I guess. Acting Defense Security, Patrick Shanahan. Acting Interior Security, David Bernhardt. Acting Ambassador to the United Nations, Jonathan Cohen. Acting Chief of Staff, Mick Mulvaney. Now, let me say this. Leave all those acting up there. That's fine for now. Let me get my notes here. Folks, a humanitarian crisis, okay? Now, if you're listening, you're hearing Democrats continue to talk about a humanitarian crisis on the border. Now they have picked up there is a crisis. But it's not, they don't talk about the criminals, okay? They don't talk about the criminals. They don't talk about the drugs. They don't talk about any of that. It's now a humanitarian crisis. And with a humanitarian crisis, they get what? They get the UN involved. And my feeling is Trump is not going to put up with the UN getting involved. I'm telling you right now, the Democrats want the United Nations, humanitarian crisis. They want the UN involved. Now, you may not have heard this anywhere. Maybe you have. But you watch it all over the world. The liberal left would love for this crisis to get so far out of hand. And this is probably what Trump is trying to put a stop to now. That you're going to start, they want to see UN, members of the UN putting up camps to take care of these people. Yeah, they want to turn this into a humanitarian crisis that would involve the United Nations. Keep an eye on that, okay? Second, asylum. Now, we are a country of immigrants. And the liberal left will say, if these people were on a boat, right? Now, if these people were on a boat, we would not be looking to see how educated they are. If these people were on a boat and they were coming into Ellis Island and they were, escaping the Jewish people and after World War II or back in the 20s, and the late 1800s, if they were coming on a boat, we would not be acting this way. Now, I'm not for sure how big a drug problem we had at that time. I'm not for sure how many criminals that came in at that time. I'm not 100% for sure. But this on the southern border is created. They've created this crisis on purpose in Central America, and they're sending these people here on purpose, okay? That's the bottom line. They're sending them here on purpose. A couple things, the Democrat, a couple things they're talking about, the crisis at the border, all right? No one leaves on a high note. Give me a, and they're going over this morning, give me number 9, MSNBC. The president and Nielsen's poor relationship was exasperated by Trump's failure to consult her, okay? This is what it is. Consult her on his decision to withdraw Vitellio's nomination according to the person close to Nielsen, okay? I think she got a tweet or something that he was out. But remember, I'm going to go back to it in a minute because it's very important. But the Democrats, deep state media, no one leaves on a high note from the Trump administration. So obviously they're looking forward to her book. And she did work, just so you know, for General Kelly. General Kelly was the original Homeland Security Secretary before he became Chief of Staff for the President. No one leaves on a high note. I mean, they're going over Tillerson, Previs, everybody that Trump supposedly, Mattis, Kelly, list goes on, acting members of the cabinet. Trump this is what the deep state media, Trump likes them so he can tell them what to do and push them around. This is the Homeland, I mean, they were talking about tear gas. Maybe we need some more tear gas. Shoot some tear gas. 2 kids have died into custody while she was Homeland. I mean, they're going crazy over this morning. All right. Trump said we're going to go in a tougher direction. What about judges? All right. What about judges? Trump says we don't need these judges. We're tired of people just stepping 1 foot on our soil and they get a judge. They get a hearing and a judge. Okay? Let me see what else kind of notes I had down here. Kids in cages. And Minka was sighing this morning. I think I'll get that up when I come back. Kids in cages, much tougher than that. Detention areas. So, what say you? And let me ask you a question. Why are they trying to why are they working so hard to get this guy right here, number 56? Why are they working so hard in the media to elevate Mayor Pete? Why? Why are they working so hard to resolve religion, resolve his being gay, whatever? Why are they working so hard to elevate this guy right here? We're going to talk about that. Remember I asked you about this guy here, number 41? Talk about that. How are they going to get by the Electoral College? They got a plan. People there in this country, there's things that you need to be in fear of that you don't pay attention to, and we're going to bring that up right after these messages. Take us to break.